It is a beautiful blue day here up on Aspen Mountain, and I thought it'd be a good time to try some new gear. So today I'm going to be riding and testing the new Burton Step On X binding. Now this is a slightly stiffer, slightly more aggressive binding than the regular Step On binding because it's made with 50% carbon fiber, 50% nylon, and that's both in the high back and the base tray. So I'm going to see how it rides, let you know my feedback on it, and have a great day with it. I've got it paired up with the Ion Step-On boot, the more aggressive, stiffer Step-On option boot that they make. And then I'm also going to be riding it with this year's Burton Deep Thinker, Danny Davis's board to do it all mountain freestyle terrain. So it should be a great ride with this pair. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, the Step On X is feeling really good. They are definitely responsive, as you just get that with any Step-On binding, but they're not like overly stiff or overly responsive. I still feel the boot flexing in the binding, not too much because, you know, the Ion is the more responsive boot. But if you're gonna go with the Step On X binding, I would personally only go with the Ion boot. Anything else is just gonna be softer, and you're just gonna get the best pairing with the Ion and the Step On X together. I wouldn't say this binding is like too much for, you know, the intermediate level to handle. This is a binding that if you're like intermediate and advanced, like you'll be fine on. It's not too hefty of a binding for you. They definitely make the setup feel a little lighter overall. I don't know if that's the X binding or if that's just a Step-On thing because there's no straps, but I definitely feel it a little lighter. My favorite part about this, just the Step-Ons in general, is that right when you get off the lift, I'm not even looking anymore and I'm just stepping my back foot and it's clicking right on and I'm just on my way without even stopping. So that's one of the best things about Step-On, I'd say. Personally, the binding that I ride every day is the Solomon Highlander, and I honestly really like this feeling of really cranking my straps down and like feeling that strap tight on my boot. That's just what I've always done, and I really like cranking it down. One thing you can't get with Step-Ons. So for me, I think I'm gonna stick with regular strap bindings for a while. I love those Solomon Highlanders, and that's my favorite binding right now. But the X is a great addition to the Step-On line, new for this year. It's cool that they're now making more options as Step-On is getting older, and now you just have more options to switch it up. You know, if you have a couple board quivers, you could have the X on your board that you like to go a little faster on, and you could have the classic Step-On binding on your other board, which is a great way to do it. Or if you just want the more premium, higher end binding, I would just go with the X. They don't feel that much different than the regular Step-On, except for one thing. Because Step-On only comes in Reflex, and the only EST bindings they make for Step-On are in the Mine 77 Super Limited collection. If you have a Burton channel board, you're most likely going to be putting Reflex Step-On bindings on your board. And that's one thing that I did notice with the X over the regular binding. Because this is a Reflex binding, just like the other Step-On binding, you have two screws that are pretty close together under your foot. That means that the binding can kind of press away from the board a little bit, as opposed to EST bindings where you have a screw on each outside of the binding. Because they're separated further, that means the binding kind of stays with the board a little better. And because this is a stiffer base plate than the regular Step-On binding, the binding doesn't pull away from the board as much as the regular step-on binding does on an EST board. If you're throwing step-on bindings on a regular 4-hole board, they're gonna feel pretty similar, the step-on X versus the regular step-on binding. But for the purpose of reflex step-on bindings on an EST channel, the X is gonna hold on the board a little better without peeling away when you're doing your toe side and heel side turns. That makes it just a more responsive binding overall, because the board is moving closer with your binding than the regular step-on binding is. I hope that makes sense in the way I explained it. If not, and you have any questions or comments, drop them below and I will answer them as best as I can. But let's go ride this some more. Getting on the lift just now, I totally went to go unstrap my straps, which I thought I had on my bindings, but nope, not with step on. Good day ripping the step-on X. I enjoyed it. You know, I don't see any downsides to it aside from boot fit. You know, if a Burton boot or the new DC step-on boot doesn't fit your foot, not really for you, because boot fit is the most important thing out of all of your gear. But yeah, got to give the step-on X a thumbs up. If you have the chance to check them out or demo them, definitely do so. You know, it's just that little premium upgrade from the regular step-on bindings. And if you have those already, maybe go and pick up a pair of step-on X's to have something new for your quiver. I hope you got some good feedback out of the latest step-on X bindings. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and make sure you do that so you don't miss out on fun days we have here in Aspen and on new product that's coming out. Thanks for shredding with me, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.